Hey everyone, welcome back to Trek Yards. As always, I think I'm Captain Foley.
I'm definitely Commander Cockins, and we have a brand new sort of thingamabobby.
We do kind of a almost canon, at least licensed ship. A new design from John Eves, which is amazing, and it is the USS Emmett Till, which is for the proposed season 8 of Deep Space Nine, and I'm super excited. It's a cool looking ship. I mean, what we left behind, the documentary, I guess they got the writers together and did a proposed draft of what the next season would be, which is really cool. So, but that's about all I know. I don't know why this was needed. This ship. I've heard there's an animated segment in the documentary that.
Yeah, obviously part of the documentary is to get new high definition CG, get new high definition footage remastered. It's obviously not only the love letter to TNG DS9 because the people in it are as everyone that was in it is in it, but also to studio look the interest you should remaster DS9, and part of that is what if we're doing a season 8? They got the writers together for one day, worked out a series arc, what they would do with the characters because they weren't done necessarily, and then they needed a new ship, so they approached John Eves literally like a month or two ago through Eagle Moss, in fact, because they all worked together on different things. And then this is one they pitched 3 designs, or John to give three rough sketches, which we'll look at on a different day. This is the, as Ben called it, the final beauty, or this is the final rough blue beauty, because there's very much still in progress. In fact, at the convention, during the first night, John was actually doing second set of sketches and talking to Ira Stephen Baird at the event, in private about this. So it's still work in progress. Take this as the Emmett Till Alpha, because it really is.
Nice, yeah. Well, I gotta say, I was impressed when I saw it. I didn't expect this, obviously. I don't think a lot of people did. I really like the design. I'm not a fan of the 4 engines, but we'll talk about that at some point. I don't know. I'm impressed with it. I think it's really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing this finalized. And of course, like you said, Eagle Moss will be doing a ship of it. So
yep, they're doing a miniature because they do a lot of concepts and fan things, and now
yeah. So when that precipitates and when that happens, I am going to be on board to get this thing for sure. But I'm going to get 2 of them, and I'm going to alter one because I'm not a fan of this design. Like the engines, everything else is fine. The engines kind of bug me, so I'm going to alter mine and make a Captain Foley version.
There we go. This one's a funny one because I saw it on the way to the event because they did an initial panel. I saw it on the way, so I saw a version, and then I saw it live again during one of the panels. But instantly, and I told this to John Eves, who was in attendance, I told this to him in person, John, it's very Discovery-like. I just saw, wow, this is a Discovery, because John hasn't worked on Prime Trek, the conventional styles, for over a decade. More than that. Discovery for a year and a half, 2 years, to which the whole point was to change it, and then JJ for 6 years, the whole point was to not look like TOS. So he hasn't done a Prime style in a very long time. Doesn't mean he can't, he obviously can, but I'm like, from this one view, I was like, that is just the Discovery hull with an alternate Discovery deflector. When I said that to him in person, he said, well, it's not so much Discovery style as Eve's style. But when you've been doing something for years, now you get into a rut of that. I wanted to see more. So this next picture is actually the other views, which is what reassures me a bit. Because straight away, that top view, far superior. But you can still see, it's clearly Discovery inspired by how, we don't have pylons like that in Trek, except Discovery. And the integrated saucer is very Discovery. These influences are clearly being brought in. Now, again, fine, it's part of the universe, but it's like, of all the ships you could do, all the cool designs, you did that? Oh, that's a shame.
Well, that being said, I mean, those pylons are very reminiscent of the shape of the refit pylons, just put backwards, with the wider part being at the secondary hull, and fattened up a bit. Like John Eves uses 1960s X-plane technology as heavy influence, and this is very reminiscent of X-plane design. Those struts or those pieces look very reminiscent of aircraft wings for some of the X-planes
yes,
in the
they
60s.
Do. Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of that design influence is coming from. But I see what you're saying as well. It does look very Discovery. I've heard that a few times from a few different people, that it's just Discovery versus future, which is what we don't want to see and what a lot of people don't want the Picard series to become. And that's the fear right now.
Doubling down on their own creation that people are split on to try and solidify it more.
Yeah.
The E is such a glorious design. It's not about going in the same circle of designs, but you asked Johnny to design a future Federation ship. Okay, cool. It's like when I worked with Rick Sternbach on Horizon. It's a future, slightly future, but this is a future of Federation design. Let's see what we can really do with that. And this is obviously many years later. But having a flat profile, like having that, that's a big thing. I guess Voyager had that as well. So I mean, it's not as radical. But I mean, just that deflector really hit me as like, wow, that is just Discovery. Although there was obviously good things. I mean, it's not a bad design. Don't try and say that. But he's obviously influenced by his earlier work. But it has got 2 necks, which is interesting. That's very Enterprise F. So he's bringing that in, which is good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of comparisons to the Odyssey class, for sure.
I mean, he does obviously know other ships that have come later. He's going to take little things. It's a nice reference. I know he must know Adam Isle and such.
I also saw a picture from this that had the directly from the front and directly from the back, with 2 different angles for the saucer, either down or up, like the TOS. And I got to say that the TOS one looked a little bit better. But overall, my initial thoughts on this, I really like the look of this design. I see what you're saying with it being Discovery, but I didn't think that straight away. It was only after I'd read a comment or 2 that said it looked very Discovery-esque that I started seeing it. So that's my take on it, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. It's a very bulky ship from this view. It very oddly proportioned.
It is, and those 2 sets, or the 4 sets of engines, or 2 sets, but 4 engines, bug me somewhat. I'm not a hater on 4 nacelle designs. As you know, I love 3 nacelle designs, but there's something about this that looks like it looks a little bit too.
It's not sleek, refined, sexy.
It is from every other angle.
Well,
but when you see it from the front and back, it's just like that just looks silly. And the engines are so small compared to the body of the ship.
This ship really could have done with actually having Prometheus style, where it has actually just 4 full sets of pylons and independent nacelles. That I think would improve it dramatically, because then also be more 3-dimensional.
Even bulking up the nacelles like the Enterprise E style would really help with the overall appearance of the ship, because like you said, the body looks so bulky from these angles that those really thin nacelles from the front and back are really kind of
they don't quite connect.
Looking. Yeah, visually they don't tie in for me.
And it's weird, given we know from the other angles it's a really thick width pylon, but super thin. So if it's meant to be a weak point, why are you thinning it at the same time as thickening it? It's now even weaker. It's now paper thin but long. But as John said, this is still very early. This is only like 2 months in, and they did stuff at the time. This is ship concept day 3. It says at the bottom. So this is still very early, and it's really great to judge it, show it early on, and I think the final will be really, everything has refinement. We've seen some of the early Discovery concepts; they were rougher than anything. Some of those engines and such.
Now, what do you think of these 2 takes on the saucer though? Because one is the angled in, and one is angled out.
Angled in. The angled out looks like a flying saucer. Doesn't connect to me at all.
But the angled out follows the curve of when this ship it's coming post Enterprise E with that kind of styleness of saucer.
No, it doesn't.
When you angle it in, it takes it more to, like I said, the TOS and Discovery vibe. I prefer that personally because it looks TOS, but it's not supposed to be TOS.
Well, there's no. You got to assume the reason for that slant is a functional one. It's not they just said, "Hey, it's been 130 years. Let's change the way. Let's have more room on the ceiling this time. Let's have more room on the floor." Like, there can't be a really real reason for it. I'm sure lots of ships in the fleet, like I don't know, some might still have that. I don't know. I think it looks slightly nicer because it's not a sleek ship. Having it, the back view angled out looks better than the front view. because in the front view there's another set of levels in front of the or on the saucer, which you can't see on the back view. The back view looks a lot nicer and sleeker. I mean, if you go back a step to the other pictures, you know, again the 3, it's a weird one 'cause it looks good from certain angles. I do like the big picture. It's a unusual style. But then you got razor thin nacelles with Discovery-esque pylons and then double neck. It's an odd, and you know, a source which is very split up, like Discovery era ships like Shinjo and such, like other concepts. You know, is pulling in. If you they did a panel with DS9 cast, and most of them hadn't watched Discovery, so I doubt Ira Steven Baird said, "Oh, let's make it Discovery looking." You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, exactly.
Because he likes DS9. But then you look at that bottom view, and you can't, you don't see the Discovery in it because it's got a certain sleekness to it. You know, it's weird.
Yeah. Overall, my first impression was, "Wow, that's awesome," and then I started looking at it, and I'm like, ugh, the 4 nacelles things bothers me. Just make it 2 nacelles.
Yeah, I think you need angled nacelles. You need angled pylons, maybe even smooth, like a slightly curved pylon would help. Like,
and I don't get me wrong, I know why they didn't go with 2 nacelles, because then everybody would say, well, the people will get it confused for the Enterprise.
It was more a case that there was 3 original concepts which we'll look at a different episode, and Ira Steven Baird said that one, flesh out that one. You know, 4 nacelles, longer, Enterprise E but more modern, 4 nacelle Enterprise E. So I mean, you know, it's less directed than that. Now we're gonna get more streamlining down. Yeah, I want to know the purpose of the ship. You know, it's Captain Ezri Dax's ship.
Oh, she's a captain at this point.
Yes. It's many years later, and in the motion comic they released one still, and Ezri is in the actual canon, the canon alternate future uniform with the proper com badge, which is great to see. Because it's still a fictitious non-canon future thing, so at least they're consistent with their own future canon things. That was really nice to see. Because Picard's show won't have that uniform. Wait, hey, if they did, super. Even to the point of having the uniform and then swapping out of it would be great. I'd be fine with that, you know. the new generation of 2400s, we swap uniform, but for 6 months we can use the old one.
I'm intrigued to see where it goes, because we've talked about the Alpha Discovery when it first came out and our thoughts on that. We compared it to a bunch of other things and tied it into universe, and then all of a sudden it was totally different, and we've done comparisons on that too. So I'm looking forward to maybe in a year or whenever doing the final version of this compared to this one and hearing our thoughts moving forward. But overall, my first impression was I'm impressed, and then I was like, there's a few things I would change, but that's the way it is with pretty much every ship, I guess.
Yeah, you don't often show them this early in the process, literally several weeks in.
Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this ship? Put them in the comments below. Looking forward to hearing them. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, do the notification thing, and help us out that way. And head on over to our social media. There's a lot of links in the description below, so you can join us and join the discussion and have some fun talking about ships and cool stuff.
And of course, we're doing Super Chat live. YouTube group thing. Talk to all of you about this ship and hear your thoughts later on in these couple of days. So tune in for that. Unless we've already done it, then we've already done it. But hopefully it'll be the same day as this video, if planning works well. Yay! But yeah, until then.
Yeah, until then, what we leave behind is this episode. Oh, clever. Bye, guys.
Bye.